The rule of thirds. It's one of the most important compositional rules or techniques that photographers use. So our goal today will be to learn what the rule of thirds is, and then also understanding your photo assignment that goes along with practicing the rule of thirds. So what is it? So the rule of thirds is when you divide the picture plane up into thirds, horizontally and vertically. In other words, like a tic-tac-toe over the image. And you'll see camera phones or other cameras oftentimes have a setting where they'll put some subtle lines through the viewfinder so you can see that tic-tac-toe kind of design, so you can compose your photos accordingly. So what you want to do is you want to place the lines over the main compositional elements and have the focal point be right at the intersection of where those lines intersect. So in this photograph, you see the horizon line lined up along this one of the lines, and then the house right in the intersection of those tic-tac-toe lines. And the house is the focal point. So here's another example here. So here's another way of thinking about the rule of thirds. If you remove the lines except for the horizon line, the picture plane has 1/3 to 2/3 relationship. So the sky is the top third and the bottom is the 2/3. So you want to try this whenever you have a horizon line or main giant compositional elements in your photograph that go along horizontal or vertical lines. Try to put them at the 1/3 mark, either horizontally like in this photo or even vertically, and we'll see some examples of that. Here's a vertical example. If you draw a grid, you'll see that people are close to the focal point here, the man, and then you can also think of it in terms of, the wall on the right-hand side 1/3, and then the background looking into the field, the 2/3. And it isn't an exact science. Like, it's okay to be close. See how the man isn't quite there, but it is really close. Here's that 1/3, 2/3 relationship here. All of the lines we will remove except the vertical line, and we can see that 1/3 to 2/3 relationship. Another variation can be seen in this photo. The wall occupies approximately 1/3 of the space along the top. The chair's another third. And then the sand, or the floor, occupies the remaining third. If we imagine a tic-tac-toe grid over the image, the bird is the focal point. Here's a rule of thirds grid used in a square format. So no matter what the aspect ratio, meaning really long and skinny, or tall and vertical, or perfectly square, the rule of thirds rule and format works. So the face is right at that intersection point. Here's another. Another sort of simplified way to think about the rule of thirds is avoiding the middle. So this bird, instead of being right into the center of the photo, is put off to the side. However, there are exceptions to this. Sometimes it looks great to have something exactly in the middle, but usually it's when a photo is symmetrical. If your photograph isn't perfectly symmetrical, top to bottom or left and right, usually you want to avoid putting things right in the center. But, rules in art can be broken to good effect. You never know. This subject is definitely in the middle. The head is placed right in the center, but the rest of the composition is about 1/3 rocky shore. 1/3 rocky shore and 2/3 rippling water. So here's an example where it can work, although it is fairly symmetrical left to right, which I was mentioning before is a way that usually works well. In this example, 2/3 of the wall is red and 1/3 of the wall is white, and the boys are mostly off center along that 1/3 line. So here's your assignment. You're going to take 10 to 20 or more photos. Look around your environment for interesting subjects. Try to find good lighting. Again, great lighting makes great photographs. Look for interesting light and shadows. And you'll turn them into Google Classroom. Remember, about 10 will get you a B, 15 an A-, and 20 or more an A. And please remember that for these photo assignments, you need to take new photographs, okay? Don't just look through your camera roll and find some photographs that follow the rule of thirds, because the whole idea is that you have new information that you need to go out and practice and try and put into practice, okay? So You can take photographs of anything you'd like, but they do need to be new and they do need to follow the rule of thirds. You're going to look at your photographs carefully. Look at where you got the rule of thirds just right on, maybe some where you didn't quite, and notice the difference. Notice which ones are the best, and you might find that the rule of thirds ones are your best. You'll choose one with the strongest composition that clearly meets the photo criteria, meaning that it follows the rule of thirds, and you'll adjust it to look its best. You could even turn it black and white or other things, but at the very minimum, check levels and exposure and so on. And then you'll turn in that best photo into Google Classroom. All right, that is your newest assignment. Have fun.